In Kenpo, as in all martial arts systems, you have generally 4 ranges of unarmed combat. You have kicking, and punching, and trapping, and grappling. Hubud is the trapping range. And within each range, there's sub-ranges. We're at the outside line of trapping. Addie gives me a chop, I'm out here, I'm trapping. She gives me a punch, I'm still trapping, but I'm a lot closer. This would be an in close trapping range. So we're at the outside range of trapping range. Let me explain a little bit what happens when people do Hubud. There's many different variations of it. I've developed Hubud, the style that I teach or the approach I take, since the early 80s. There's many common flaws. One which I've already talked about is people do not get the snap or the rotation. When Addie chops me, she's snapping the wrist right at the end. She comes in and snaps. That's what I'm looking for, just like that. Snap. As well, which I've already said, I'm snapping her. When we did tackle techniques earlier in our tape, we talked about me stepping back, drawing some distance when Lloyd was attacking me around for a low tackle. My left hand snapped. My right hand loaded here. These are the same motions as in the loading for the Hubud. So a flaw would be not to load, which we talked about. Also, what people don't understand sometimes is that this chop, you really are practicing a chop. For instance, a Kempo technique called the whip, where you step in, block, hit. Here, look at my right hand. We come in for the chop. That's the same chop as Hubud. When I do tackle technique, it's the same chop out of tackle technique. It's the universal motion of that, what I call angle 1 chop. What happens is people just sort of float their hand up here and just kind of, just for the sensitivity. But what we're trying to extract is the full range of motion as if there's intent. Another flaw in Hubud that's often presented is when Addie chops me, I'm catching it in here with a bent arm. This is a very weak position here. What I do is extend it out. Let me demonstrate on Addie how strong this angle is. We also do some punching from this in some of our other arts, having this sort of angle from shoulder to elbow to fist. It's the same motion as when I'm catching for Hubud. If Addie would catch me right there, now I'm outweigh Addie by about 100 pounds, and I have a pretty reasonable body strength. I'm going to try and bend her arm. That's how strong that angle is. My point is, keep that angle, and this is why. When she chops me, I'm always hitting at that angle. Once she's made contact, I can allow that angle to flex and or weaken. But the reason I can let it weaken is I want to get her closer to me. If I have it out here, she's farther away. As she gives me more pressure, I can let her come in. It allows me to do other stuff because she's closer to me. In Hubud and or my approach, in is safe. We want to get as close as we can. When she chops me, she has all the impact potential coming at me. Right here. Once contact's been made, I've established this powerful angle, countered her. Now her impact potential is gone. Now it's a connected push. Push as hard as you want. It's like it's not that big of a deal. So I can allow myself to weaken. Another common flaw is people chop and they don't really have a target. To make it real, see your opponent's collarbone, see their neck, see their temple. Don't get lost in the flow and just drift through the drill. Sometimes people get lost in drills, and that's one of the problems with them. But if you keep it real by focusing on your intent on a target, it'll work for you much, much better. So Addie's going to chop me towards my collarbone. From this position, because that's where her target is, it's all relevant to height, etc. But where her elbow is, I want her to push down really hard from here. Go ahead, push. Push, push, push. It's a very strong angle. If she were to chop higher like this, floating in unfocused with little or no intense strike, push down hard. And she can do that to me. Once I chop and my elbow's up high, I'm very easily toppable. These are the things that you learn in terms of leverage, relationship to leverage in anatomy, distance, etc. That'll bring out more life in your Kenpo. So Mr. Tracy, my Kenpo instructor, has always encouraged me to go out and train other arts to help enhance the Kenpo, and that's what I've done. She gives me a chop, her elbow's down. Another flaw is people let go of that trapping hand. I'm not trying to hold her, I'm just monitoring her. She punches me with something, I'm just listening and paying attention. Once I let go of this, I'm in danger. I can't effectively stop her or stop me from this position because there's not enough time, because there's not enough distance. So once my hand is here, my hand, my palm, the sensitivity as it were, is listening to her intent. As soon as there's pressure, this is like a receiver. Wrap your fingers around here. What that's doing is telling me everything she's going to do. If I lift my fingers up, she can grab my fingers and do nasty things to me, which we're going to show in our lock flow in a moment. So when she chops me, elbow, intent, target, snapping, rotation, angle, trapping, and not letting go of her, but instead listening, keeping my hand relaxed. The slap is to draw attention. Listen to her slap when she does it to me. There's it. It's a slapping motion. Whoa, you're going to do that in real life. This is a drill, not a technique. Kenpo, of course, is full of techniques. You want to find drills that work with the techniques, and techniques you can put into drills. Now you've got the best of both worlds. You've got some synergy going on. A technique relationship to Hubud is the initial attack. It's not a drill now, but the technique. She goes ahead and chops me. Smash! I'm just going to hit her. That's more of a technique. Then we can do whatever we want from there and move and go and free flow. But the drill is completely different.